Have you ever looked up at the night sky, feeling the profound stillness of the dark, and wondered if the cosmos itself is somehow aware of your presence? It is a question that has haunted philosophers, poets, and astronomers alike for centuries. We are entirely used to thinking of the universe as a vast, empty warehouse, a cold and mechanical void where dead rocks orbit unthinking fires in absolute silence. But what if this perception is fundamentally wrong? What if the fabric of space-time, the swirling galaxies, and the invisible forces that bind them together are not just random accidents of physics, but the anatomy of something infinitely more profound? What if the universe is not just a place we happen to live in, but a singular unified entity that embodies the very definition of what ancient cultures called God? When we observe the cosmos through the lenses of our most advanced telescopes, we do not find chaotic, disconnected debris. We find a staggering, almost terrifying order. We find structures so deeply interconnected that they mimic the neural networks of a human brain. We find physical laws so perfectly tuned that even the slightest deviation would render all of existence impossible. Before we journey deeper into this grand mystery and explore the first proof of a conscious cosmos, allow me to introduce myself. I am Theodore, the researcher, your gentle guide through the quiet mysteries of the dark. I have noticed that 71% of the people watching these cosmic journeys have not subscribed yet. If you find peace and inspiration in these contemplations, please take a moment to subscribe, as it helps our community grow and allows us to continue exploring the infinite wonders of the universe together. Let us return to the comforting embrace of the quiet darkness. The first shocking proof that the universe operates as a unified, divine-like entity lies in the absolute and undeniable fundamental unity of all matter. For most of human history, we assumed that we were entirely separate from the heavens above us. We thought our terrestrial world was distinct from the celestial spheres. Different cultures had different explanations for that hazy band of light stretching across the night sky, with the ancient Greeks telling stories of milk spilled from the goddess Hera's breast, the Romans calling it the Milky Road, and Aboriginal Australians seeing it as a celestial river in the sky. But when the very first telescopes were turned toward the Milky Way in the 17th century, observers began to realize that the milky glow resolved into countless individual stars. As our vision grew sharper and our scientific instruments more precise, we uncovered a truth more poetic than any ancient myth. The atoms forging those distant fires are the exact same atoms that make up your very heartbeat. The stars are not distant, alien entities. They are fusion reactors, burning hydrogen into helium and heavier elements, just like stars do everywhere across the void. The atoms in those distant stars are the exact same kinds of atoms that make up our bodies: carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, and iron. All of them were forged in the hearts of stars somewhere in the deep universe. Just as the atoms in our bodies were forged in stars that exploded long before our sun was even born, there is an unbroken continuity here, a deep physical connection between us and absolutely everything else in the cosmos. The same processes that built the largest galaxies built us, and the same atoms that shine in distant galaxies currently shine in our eyes. We are not mere observers of the universe from the outside. We are the universe observing itself from within. To truly grasp the magnitude of this cosmic unity, we must stretch our human imagination to its absolute breaking point. Consider the sheer scale of the cosmos, which acts as the physical architecture of this interconnected existence. For most of human history, we assumed that our galaxy was the entire universe. But that is just a tiny, insignificant drop in a boundless ocean. Today, we estimate that there are around 2 trillion galaxies in the observable universe. 2 trillion, that is a 2 followed by 12 zeros. Each of those galaxies contains billions or even trillions of stars. To comprehend the architecture of this grand cosmic body, we must look at the true monsters of the universe. Galaxies so enormous that they make our Milky Way look like nothing more than a speck of dust floating in an empty warehouse. Consider a quiet giant known by the somewhat boring name of IC 1101. This is not an exaggeration, nor is it dramatic storytelling. This is the honest truth about a cosmic monster that sits over 1 billion light-years away from us, quietly existing in the darkness of space, holding more stars than you could ever count in 1 million lifetimes. This massive collection of stars sits at the center of a cluster of galaxies called Abel 2029, dominating everything around it like a cosmic emperor on a throne. The scale is so massive that your brain will genuinely struggle to truly understand it. It is roughly 40 to 60 times larger than our entire home galaxy. This single, magnificent structure is estimated to contain around 100 trillion stars. 100 trillion. If you started counting stars in this galaxy, exactly 1 star per second without stopping, it would take you over 3 million years just to count to 100 trillion. The gravity holding this magnificent beast together is a fundamental force that communicates across millions of light years, binding 100 trillion separate nuclear fires into a single, cohesive entity. It operates with a silent, unseen intelligence. Just like the cells in a living organism, these stars and galaxies do not exist in isolation. They are grouped together in clusters, held together by their mutual gravitational attraction. The universe builds things from the bottom up, starting small and growing large through countless mergers over cosmic time. An elegant process scientists call hierarchical structure formation. This deliberate, organized growth beautifully mirrors the biological development of a living being. Imagine yourself floating in space somewhere near the edge of IC 1101. Around you, in every possible direction, stars stretch out toward infinity. Not hundreds, not thousands, not millions, but trillions of stars, each one a burning sun, each one shining for billions of years. You cannot see the center of the galaxy from here, as it is too far away, hidden behind countless curtains of stars. The galaxy fades gradually into the darkness of intergalactic space, with no clear boundary. You're completely lost in a sea of light, adrift in a structure so incredibly vast that crossing it would take millions of times longer than human civilization has even existed. In the face of such enormity, we can feel hopelessly small, or we can feel profound wonder. I choose wonder. If the universe is a singular, divine-like entity, there must be a connective tissue, a silent nervous system linking the farthest reaches of space. Modern cosmology has discovered exactly this. The space between stars is almost unimaginably empty. Step outside our solar system, and emptiness becomes the rule, with stars separated by such vast gulfs that the chance of any 2 of them colliding by accident is essentially 0. Yet, the true mass of the cosmos is deliberately hidden from our eyes. Most of a galaxy's mass is not in stars at all. It is in something we call dark matter. Dark matter is one of the greatest mysteries in modern physics. We cannot see it. It does not emit light or absorb light, and it does not interact with normal matter except through gravity. Yet, we know it exists because galaxies rotate in ways that would be impossible if they only contained the matter we can visibly see. In a typical spiral galaxy, dark matter accounts for about 90% of the total mass. This invisible dark matter forms a cosmic web, a complex network of dark filaments stretching across the entire universe. It acts as the highways along which normal matter flows, drawing gas and dust into spectacular nodes where galaxy clusters are born. It looks startlingly like a microscopic image of neurons firing in a magnificent brain. This vast, unseen architecture dictates the shape of everything we can see. It is an invisible hand, a guiding force shaping the universe in absolute silence. To further understand this divine nature, consider the expansion of space itself. In 1998, astronomers made a truly shocking discovery. They found that the universe was not slowing down. It was speeding up. Something was pushing the universe apart, causing space to expand at an accelerating rate. Scientists named this mysterious force dark energy. We know that dark energy makes up about 68% of all the energy in the universe. It acts as an omnipresent anti-gravity, dictating the ultimate fate of the cosmos. In a universe of mindless matter and energy, of particles bouncing around according to physical laws, somehow here on Earth, consciousness has emerged. Minds that can wonder, question, investigate, and learn. Whatever else we are the part of the universe that has woken up and started asking questions about itself. As we prepare to explore the next proof, let the silence of this realization wash over you. We are entirely lucky enough to exist during this beautiful flowering of complexity. Let us breathe in the starlight and prepare for the next step of our journey into the mind of the cosmos. Have you ever wished you could freeze a perfect moment in time, or look back into the deepest history of your own life? We humans experience time as a relentless river, flowing strictly in one direction, carrying us gently but firmly away from our past. But step outside the quiet confines of our small rocky world, and this everyday perception gracefully shatters. The second shocking proof of a conscious, divine-like universe is its flawless, eternal memory, preserved forever in the ancient light traveling through the infinite void. When we gaze out into the deep cosmos, we are not looking at the universe as it is right now. We are looking at the universe exactly as it was. Every single observation of a distant object is a literal look back in time, a quiet glimpse of how things used to be rather than how they are today. This time delay is not a limitation. It is an incredible, profound opportunity. It allows us to study cosmic history directly, reading the physical memory of the universe by looking at galaxies at different distances and therefore at different points in the past. The cosmos is a perfect historian, holding on to every second of its majestic existence in absolute silence. Consider the ancient light arriving tonight from the massive galaxy we explored earlier, IC 1101. The faint photons striking our telescope mirrors left that magnificent galaxy over 1 billion years ago. It has been traveling through the absolute void of space for more than 1 billion years, just to reach our waiting eyes. When that ancient light began its gentle journey toward us, life on Earth was still mostly simple, single-celled organisms. Complex animals had not yet evolved, and the majestic dinosaurs would not appear for another several 100 million years. Every major event in human history, from the first civilizations to the invention of the telescope itself, happened while that ancient light was still crossing the endless emptiness between galaxies. The universe remembers absolutely everything. It records its own vast history in rays of light, broadcasting its story across billions of light years. It is a living archive, an omniscient observer that misses nothing, capturing the birth and death of stars in an infinite quiet journey across the darkness. At the very core of this living memory, governing the colossal structures of the cosmos, lies something even more mysterious. a phenomenon that challenges our very understanding of physics and reality. Sitting quietly at the center of the cosmic giant IC 1101 is one of the largest known supermassive black holes in the entire universe. We often think of black holes as terrifying destroyers, mindless vacuums, devouring everything in their path. But what if they are actually the beating hearts of the cosmic organism, regulating growth and maintaining an exquisite, delicate balance? Scientists estimate that this single, majestic black hole contains somewhere between 40 billion and 100 billion times the mass of our humble sun. This single black hole might have 25,000 times more mass than the black hole at the center of our entire Milky Way galaxy. To gently wrap our minds around this staggering reality, we must rely on our innate sense of wonder. If you could somehow weigh the Earth, you would find it has a mass of about 6 trillion kilograms. That sounds entirely immense until you compare it to our Sun, which is about 330,000 times more massive than Earth. Now, multiply our Sun's mass by 50 billion. All of that incomprehensible mass is compressed into a region of space from which absolutely nothing can escape. The gravitational pull at the event horizon, the silent boundary of the black hole, is so intensely powerful that even light itself cannot break free. For a black hole containing 50 billion solar masses, this silent boundary would extend outward for roughly 150 billion kilometers. To put this in perspective, our entire solar system, from the Sun to the orbit of Neptune, is about 9 billion kilometers across. The event horizon of this black hole is roughly 16 times larger than our entire solar system. If you place this black hole where our Sun is, its event horizon would extend well beyond the orbit of Pluto, engulfing everything we consider our cosmic home. What would it be like near this monstrous, ancient phenomenon? The physics of such extreme environments becomes bizarre and deeply counterintuitive, almost mimicking the mystical properties often attributed to a divine presence. Time itself would pass differently near the event horizon compared to far away. Someone falling towards the black hole would see the outside universe seemingly speed up, while an outside observer would see the falling person gracefully slow down and appear to freeze perfectly as they approach the horizon. From the outside, they would never seem to actually cross the boundary. Inside the event horizon, all possible directions lead inevitably toward the singularity at the center. Space and time themselves become so profoundly warped that the very concept of escaping becomes entirely meaningless. It is a place of absolute unity, where the fundamental rules of reality blend into a single, infinite point of quiet stillness. Yet, despite its enormous size and terrifying properties, the black hole at the center of IC 1101 is currently relatively quiet. It is a giant in repose, powerful but dormant. It is not actively devouring huge amounts of matter, and there is no brilliant accretion disk swirling around it. This quietness reveals a profound secret about the nature of the cosmos. Scientists now believe that supermassive black holes play a crucial, almost parental role in regulating galaxy growth and evolution. When gas flows toward a galaxy's center, the black hole can release enough energy to heat that gas and gently push it outward, preventing it from forming new stars. This creates a magnificent kind of thermostat effect that helps determine the final size and properties of the galaxies themselves. The giant galaxy and its giant black hole have reached a beautiful equilibrium, each one having shaped the other over billions of years of shared evolution. This is not the chaotic, random destruction of a dead universe. This is the delicate, interconnected symphony of a living system. The universe regulates its own temperature, governs its own growth, and ensures that the cosmic dance remains perfectly balanced. To fully embrace the wonder of this cosmic scale and this delicate balance, let us attempt a quiet thought experiment. Imagine you could somehow travel from one end of IC 1101 to the other. You would need to cross somewhere between 4 and 6 million light years. Remember, light travels at about 6 trillion miles per year. Even at that incomprehensible speed, crossing this magnificent galaxy would take millions of years. The Voyager 1 spacecraft, launched by NASA in 1977, is the fastest human-made object ever to leave our solar system, traveling at about 38,000 miles per hour relative to the Sun. At that impressive speed, it would take Voyager 1 about 80,000 years just to reach the nearest star to our Sun, Proxima Centauri. To cross the entire Milky Way at that speed would take about 2 billion years, and to gently drift across IC 1101, you would need somewhere between 80 billion and 120 billion years. That is more time than the universe has even existed. Faced with these incomprehensible numbers, we might feel insignificant, believing our small lives on this tiny blue planet matter very little. But the exact opposite is true. The existence of these massive structures, these immense spans of time, and these mind-bending physical laws actually tells us something profoundly hopeful about our situation. Consider that we can know about these things at all. Human beings, living on a small rocky planet, orbiting an ordinary star in an unremarkable part of an average spiral galaxy, have somehow magically developed the ability to understand objects so far away that their light left before complex life even existed on Earth. This ability to understand is not nothing. In a universe of mindless matter and energy, somehow, here on Earth, consciousness has emerged. We are the part of the universe that has woken up and started asking questions about itself. We are the eyes of the cosmos staring deeply into our own vast reflection. The universe did not have to be this way. If the fundamental constants of physics were slightly different, if gravity were a little stronger or the nuclear forces a little weaker, stars and galaxies might never have formed. The universe might have collapsed back on itself moments after the Big Bang, or expanded so fast that matter never clumped together. Instead, we live in a universe where physical laws allow for the formation of stars, planets, galaxies, life, and mind. This fine-tuning is the ultimate expression of a cosmos that seems purposefully designed to experience itself. Every discovery we make, every galaxy we study, every black hole we observe gracefully expands our sense of what is possible. Each step has made us smaller in some sense, but it has also made the universe grander, more interesting, and infinitely more worthy of our awe. As you lie there, safe and quiet in the dark, remember that you are an integral piece of this grand unfolding mystery. You are the universe's way of thinking, of feeling, of experiencing the profound beauty of existence. The journey into the depths of this cosmic mind is far from over, and there are still many quiet mysteries to ponder as we drift deeper into the starry night together. Have you ever noticed that in nature, endings are merely beautiful beginnings disguised as loss? When a quiet autumn leaf falls, it does not simply vanish. It returns to the earth, gently nourishing the soil to give birth to new life in the spring. But what happens when entire galaxies collide? In our limited human experience, a collision is inherently violent, a chaotic destruction of form and structure. But on the grand, infinite scale of the cosmos, the universe operates with a gentle, deliberate grace that transforms apparent destruction into a majestic dance of creation. This is the third shocking proof of a divine-like cosmos, the eternal cycle of galactic rebirth. When we observe the largest structures in the universe, we do not see mindless devastation. We see a carefully choreographed ballet of gravity, a silent, ancient process where isolated islands of stars merge to form something infinitely more magnificent. The universe does not waste a single atom. It recycles, it reimagines, and it reconstructs in absolute silence, guiding matter through billions of years of transformation. Before we delve into the deep mechanics of this cosmic dance, please allow me to briefly introduce myself once again. I am Theodore, the researcher, your dedicated companion on this quiet journey through the infinite. I have noticed that exactly 71% of the beautiful minds who watch our explorations have not subscribed yet. If you are finding a sense of peace and wonder in these mysteries, please consider subscribing. It helps our community immensely, allowing us to continue exploring the vast cosmos together. Now, let us return to the comforting dark and witness how galaxies embrace. Consider the magnificent history of IC 1101, the cosmic giant we have been quietly contemplating. As astronomers continued to study this enormous structure, they began to understand why it was so incredibly massive. This galaxy did not grow to its enormous size through isolated, normal processes alone. It became a giant through an act of cosmic synthesis that has been gracefully happening for billions of years. Scientists sometimes call it a cannibal galaxy, but that term feels far too aggressive for the quiet reality of the void. To truly understand this, you need to think about how gravity works on the largest possible scales. Galaxies do not exist in isolation. They are beautifully grouped together in clusters held tightly by their mutual gravitational attraction. Within these delicate clusters, galaxies move around each other in the deep silence of space, sometimes passing close by, sometimes colliding directly. When two galaxies get close to each other, their gravity begins to gently distort their shapes. Stars that were orbiting peacefully get pulled out of their normal paths, and ancient clouds of gas and dust get compressed and stretched into stunning new configurations. If the galaxies are similar in size, they might gracefully merge together over hundreds of millions of years, eventually forming a single, vastly larger galaxy. Scientists estimate that the giant IC 1101 has undergone at least 76 major mergers over its incredibly long history. 76 times another substantial galaxy fell into this cosmic giant and was absorbed into its magnificent body. And those are merely the major mergers. Countless smaller dwarf galaxies have also been seamlessly consumed over the eons. This might sound like a chaotic battlefield, but the process is as gentle as falling snow. The space between individual stars in any galaxy is almost unimaginably empty. It is so unimaginably vast that when two galaxies pass through each other, the chance of any two stars actually hitting one another is essentially zero. It is a collision of ghosts, an ethereal intermingling of light and gravity, where trillions of stars slip past each other without a single physical impact. Instead of destruction, the gravitational effects are breathtakingly creative. The ancient clouds of gas are compressed by the shifting gravity, triggering enormous bursts of star formation. New stars light up by the billions, burning hot and bright, illuminating the quiet journey of their host galaxies. The universe uses the momentum of the old to forge the brilliant fires of the new, stirring up the stars like someone mixing ingredients in a cosmic bowl. What remains is a testament to billions of years of beautiful synthesis. We are not merely external observers of this magnificent process. Our own home is actively participating in this cosmic dance. Our own Milky Way is not immune to the elegant forces that shape the largest giants of the universe. Right now, as you listen to these words, and rest in the quiet dark, our galaxy is in the very process of consuming several smaller neighboring galaxies. The Canis Major dwarf galaxy is being softly pulled apart and absorbed into the Milky Way. The Sagittarius dwarf galaxy is being stretched and beautifully distorted by our gravitational pull. Streams of stars from past encounters can still be traced across our night sky, acting as ghostly reminders of galaxies that once existed as separate entities before joining our larger cosmic family. And in the very distant future, an even more dramatic and beautiful event awaits our descendants. The Andromeda Galaxy, our nearest large neighbor, which sits roughly 2 million light-years away, is heading toward us. Scientists have long believed that in about 4 to 5 billion years, the Milky Way and Andromeda will gracefully collide and eventually merge into a single, much larger elliptical galaxy, a future home often nicknamed Milko Meta. As the great astrophysicist Carl Sagan once eloquently reminded us, we are a way for the cosmos to know itself. When we look at these impending mergers, we are witnessing the universe reorganizing its own magnificent thoughts. The beautiful structure we see in spiral galaxies like our own is maintained by a delicate balance between the rotational motion of the disk and the gravitational pull of all the matter within. But when Andromeda and the Milky Way finally embrace, those delicate spiral arms will be forever altered. The violent yet completely silent gravitational interactions will mix all the stars together into a more random spherical distribution. The two supermassive black holes at the centers of each galaxy will eventually find each other and merge, releasing profound ripples in the fabric of space-time itself, known as gravitational waves. These invisible waves carry energy away, causing the black holes to spiral closer until they merge, stretching and squeezing the very fabric of reality as they pass. Over billions of years, the temporary chaos will settle down into a profound, lasting peace. What was once the Milky Way and what was once Andromeda will blend seamlessly together into a single, smooth, featureless giant. This reveals a profound truth about the mind of the cosmos. It favors deep unity over lonely isolation. Just as atoms bind to form molecules, and molecules bind to form the cells of our human bodies, galaxies bind to form colossal superstructures, slowly gathering the scattered light of the universe into massive, glowing sanctuaries of ancient starlight. By the time our own galaxy completes this monumental cosmic merger, our Earth will likely be long gone, as our sun is expected to expand into a magnificent red giant in about 5 billion years, swelling to a size that would gently engulf our small blue planet. The story of galactic rebirth reminds us that the universe operates on timescales that completely dwarf individual lives, individual civilizations, and even individual planets. The matter that makes up your body, the ancient carbon and iron forged in primordial stellar fires, will still be there. It will be gently swept up in the grand cosmic dance, redistributed across the newly formed giant galaxy, perhaps one day coalescing into a beautiful new world, under a warm new sun, to spark the miracle of consciousness all over again. The universe does not mourn the passing of a single star or a single planet, because it knows deeply that nothing is ever truly lost. Everything is simply transformed in the quiet, endless journey of existence. Let this profound knowledge bring you a deep, abiding comfort. You are not a separate, fragile thing placed into a cold void. You are an essential, eternal part of a magnificent living system that spans billions of light years. As you rest safely in the soothing silence of the dark, feel the gentle pull of the cosmos, connecting your own steady heartbeat to the majestic, turning wheels of the galaxies above. Have you ever marveled at how your own body intuitively knows exactly how to heal a gentle scratch, or how to regulate its internal temperature on a cold winter night without you ever having to consciously think about it. We consider this autonomous regulation the absolute hallmark of a living, breathing biological organism. But what if I told you that the vast universe itself possesses this exact same autonomous, self-regulating intuition? The fourth shocking proof of a conscious, divine-like cosmos lies in its magnificent ability to regulate its own infinite growth, an exquisite cosmic thermostat that miraculously maintains a delicate balance across billions of light years. When we look deep into the absolute hearts of the largest galaxies, we do not find chaotic, runaway growth or mindless destruction. Instead, we discover a quiet, deliberate mechanism that gently prevents the cosmos from burning out too quickly, ensuring an incredibly long, slow, and beautifully paced existence. This ancient equilibrium is not a mere accident of random physics. It is the breathtaking signature of a universe that actively maintains its own peaceful harmony in the endless dark. To truly understand this profound harmony, we must journey once again into the deep silence of the cosmic void, far beyond the familiar shores of our own quiet, stellar neighborhood. We must carefully look at the true monsters of the deep, the ancient, magnificent structures that have gracefully survived since the very dawn of time. Before we peer directly into the specific mechanics of this breathtaking self-regulation, allow me to gently reintroduce myself to those who might be new to our quiet journey. I am Theodore, the researcher, your dedicated, quiet companion navigating this endless, gentle ocean of starlight. I have noticed that exactly 71% of the curious, beautiful souls who watch our videos have not subscribed yet. If these quiet, meditative journeys bring you a profound sense of peace and a deeper connection to the infinite universe, please take a moment to subscribe. It helps our learning community thrive and allows us to continue bringing more content like this to you, exploring the deepest mysteries of the universe together in quiet wonder. Now, let us return our focus to the quiet darkness and deeply explore the profound thermostat of the cosmos. We briefly mentioned earlier the supermassive black hole sitting quietly at the very center of the giant galaxy IC 1101. It is undeniably one of the largest known supermassive black holes in the entire universe. Scientists have carefully estimated that it contains somewhere between 40 billion and 100 billion times the mass of our humble sun. With such incomprehensible, staggering mass, you might naturally expect it to be a site of violent, unchecked cosmic consumption. You might expect IC 1101 to be a chaotic hotbed of explosive stellar activity. But here is something truly remarkable that challenges our basic perception. Despite its enormous size and terrifying properties, the ancient black hole at the center of IC 1101 is currently relatively quiet. It is absolutely not actively devouring huge amounts of matter. There is absolutely no brilliant accretion disk swirling around it, nor is there a powerful, destructive jet shooting into space at nearly the speed of light. The black hole is simply there, waiting patiently, because it has already consumed most of the material that was easily within its gravitational reach. This profound quietness is actually related to the exact same beautiful phenomenon that has gently stopped IC 1101 from forming new stars. Most of the available gas in the ancient galaxy has already been gracefully used up over the eons. Without new gas falling toward the center, the supermassive black hole has very little to eat. Occasionally, a stray star wanders too close and gets gently torn apart, providing a brief meal. But these cosmic events are exceptionally rare. The black hole, exactly like the massive galaxy that hosts it, is a beautiful giant in absolute repose, immensely powerful but deeply dormant. Yet, there are still ghostly, majestic traces of the black hole's past activity, and these traces reveal the magnificent hidden secret of the cosmic thermostat. Astronomers have brilliantly detected a bright radio source at the very center of IC 1101, specifically cataloged as PKS 508 plus 059. This specific radio emission beautifully comes from relativistic jets, which are vast streams of particles accelerated to nearly the speed of light and violently ejected from the immediate vicinity of the black hole. These incredible, invisible jets are powered by the black hole's own immense rotation and its powerful magnetic fields, and they have the profound ability to gently carve out enormous cavities in the surrounding ancient gas. Breathtaking images from advanced X-ray telescopes show these vast cavities with stunning, undeniable clarity. They are essentially magnificent, invisible bubbles of very hot, very thin gas blown outward by the immense energy released near the black hole. Some of these breathtaking bubbles are literally millions of light years across, standing as a silent, eternal testimony to ancient periods in the deep past when the black hole was much more active than it is today. The sheer energy required to gently inflate these massive bubbles is absolutely staggering, perfectly equivalent to the total energy output of billions of stars over millions of years. This is precisely where the universe reveals its divine-like, self-regulating intuition. This kind of intricate, delicate feedback between supermassive black holes and their host galaxies is one of the absolute most active and fascinating areas of research in modern astrophysics. Brilliant scientists now deeply believe that supermassive black holes play a crucial, almost biological role in carefully regulating galaxy growth and evolution. When cooling gas flows inward toward a galaxy's center, the black hole can intelligently release just enough energy to gently heat that gas and lovingly push it outward, completely preventing it from forming new stars. This creates a magnificent kind of thermostat effect that beautifully helps determine the final size and properties of the galaxies themselves. The universe does not just let galaxies grow blindly until they consume absolutely everything. It provides a profound regulatory mechanism. In the specific case of IC 1101, this exquisite ancient feedback may be partly responsible for the giant galaxy's current, profoundly peaceful state. The ancient black hole has gently helped shut down star formation by precisely heating the surrounding gas and completely preventing it from cooling and collapsing. The giant galaxy and its giant black hole have gracefully reached a kind of deep, perfect equilibrium, each one having beautifully shaped the other over billions of years of shared silent evolution. This profound equilibrium gracefully extends far beyond the edges of the single galaxy. IC 1101 sits patiently at the very heart of the Abel 2029 galaxy cluster. Understanding this magnificent cluster helps us deeply understand why the cosmos is a delicately balanced, living web. Galaxy clusters are absolutely some of the largest gravitationally bound structures in the entire universe. They can comfortably contain hundreds or even thousands of individual galaxies, all orbiting in a silent, majestic dance around a common center of mass. The vast, seemingly empty space between the galaxies in a cluster is not simply an empty void at all. It is actually filled with extremely hot gas, gently heated to temperatures of tens of millions of degrees by the profound gravitational energy released as the cluster itself beautifully formed billions of years ago. This magnificent structure, Abel 2029, is what astronomers gracefully call a relaxed cluster, perfectly meaning it has peacefully settled into a fairly stable, harmonious configuration over billions of years of cosmic time. The numerous galaxies within it have had ample, quiet time to sort themselves out, with the most incredibly massive ones slowly sinking toward the quiet center, due to a beautiful physical process called dynamical friction. As more massive objects move smoothly through a vast sea of smaller objects, they logically experience a kind of gentle drag that softly slows them down and delicately causes them to spiral inward. IC 1101 sits quietly at the very bottom of this deep gravitational well, at the absolute densest part of the cluster, where galaxies are packed most tightly together. The extremely hot gas that fills the entire cluster also plays a profound, almost nurturing role in this giant galaxy's slow evolution. This specific gas, delicately called the intracluster medium, is incredibly sparse by our normal human standards. If you could magically scoop up a single cubic meter of it, you would find only a few solitary atoms. But precisely because there is so much of it spread seamlessly over millions of light years, it gracefully adds up to an enormous amount of mass. This gas is so incredibly hot that it continuously emits X-rays, which is precisely how our modern astronomers brilliantly detect it. Advanced X-ray telescopes like NASA's Chandra Observatory have carefully mapped the delicate distribution of this hot gas in Obel 2029, revealing that it is concentrated beautifully around IC 1101 at the quiet cluster's absolute center. The gas forms a kind of protective, warming atmosphere around the giant galaxy, a thin, beautiful haze of superhot particles extending millions of light years into the deep, dark space. Consider what it deeply means that galaxies like this can exist in such perfect, elegant harmony at all. The universe absolutely did not have to be this incredibly specific way. If the fundamental ancient constants of physics were even slightly different, if gravity were a little stronger or the invisible nuclear forces a little weaker, stars and galaxies might never have formed in the first place. The universe might have tragically collapsed back on itself mere moments after the Big Bang, or it might have expanded so incredibly fast that matter never had the slightest chance to clump together to form these beautiful, complex structures. Instead, we are incredibly fortunate to live in a universe where the precise physical laws perfectly allow for the slow, majestic formation of stars, planets, galaxies, life, and the conscious mind. IC 1101 is a silent, magnificent testament to exactly what is beautifully possible in such a perfectly tuned universe. It is absolute, undeniable proof that raw matter and pure energy, following simple, elegant physical rules over billions of years, can effortlessly organize themselves into astonishing structures of staggering complexity and profound beauty. As you lie there in the quiet dark, let the deep peace of this perfect, universal balance fill your mind, knowing you are a cherished part of this magnificent, self-regulating cosmic body. Have you ever felt a profound sense of isolation, a quiet ache in the deep hours of the night, believing that you are entirely separate from the world around you? We move through our daily lives trapped within the physical boundaries of our fragile skin, navigating a reality that feels strictly divided by vast, impassable distances. When we gaze up at the night sky, we see the stars as distant, lonely islands of light, separated from us by millions of years of empty, freezing darkness. Our everyday human experience constantly teaches us that to affect something, we must physically touch it, or at the very least, send a signal that must travel across the slow, creeping river of time. We build walls, we draw borders, and we define ourselves by the spaces that exist between us and the rest of creation. But what if this feeling of deep, unrelenting separation is nothing more than a stubborn, terrestrial illusion? What if physical distance, as we understand it, does not truly exist at the deepest, most fundamental level of reality. The fifth shocking proof of a conscious, divine-like cosmos lies in the mind-bending reality of omnipresence, proven mathematically and physically by the quiet, instantaneous connections that bind the invisible fabric of existence together. Before we dive into the microscopic heart of this ancient mystery, allow me to gently welcome you once more. I am Theodore, the researcher, your quiet companion on this continuous journey through the endless dark. I have noticed that exactly 71% of the curious souls who watch our videos have not subscribed yet. If these contemplations bring you a sense of peace and a deeper connection to the infinite, please take a moment to subscribe. It helps our community grow and allows us to continue exploring the vast cosmos together. Let us return to the comforting stillness of the dark and completely reimagine the concept of space. In the early 20th century, scientists began to look closer at the fundamental building blocks of matter, peering deep into the microscopic realm where the familiar laws of physics simply melt away. What they found was a universe far stranger and far more deeply interconnected than anyone could have ever dreamed. They discovered a phenomenon so deeply unsettling that even Albert Einstein fiercely resisted it, famously calling it spooky action at a distance. Today, we call this beautiful phenomenon quantum entanglement. Imagine two tiny particles of light born together from the exact same energetic event. According to the breathtaking laws of quantum mechanics, these two particles are not separate entities. They are a single, unified system, sharing the exact same physical state. If you were to gently separate these two particles, sending one to the farthest edge of the Andromeda galaxy and keeping the other here on Earth, they would remain absolutely, perfectly connected. If you were to alter the state of the particle here on our small rocky world, its twin, sitting millions of light years away in the deep silence of space, would instantaneously change its state to match. Not a second later, not a fraction of a millisecond later, but instantaneously. This breaks the most sacred rule of our conventional understanding of the universe, the cosmic speed limit. For generations, we have known that nothing, not even the radiant light from the most massive stars, can travel faster than roughly 186,000 miles per second. Yet, quantum entanglement completely bypasses this limitation, operating entirely outside the boundaries of normal space and time. This is not mere theoretical mathematics. This is an undeniably proven reality. In the year 2017, a brilliant team of scientists utilized a specialized space satellite named Micus to beam entangled photons from the silent vacuum of orbit down to two separate ground stations located over 746 miles apart. When they measured the particles, they found that they communicated instantaneously, perfectly coordinating their states faster than light could ever travel between them. The universe, at its absolute most fundamental level, operates as a single, seamless, indivisible entity. Information does not need to travel across the vast, empty gulfs of the cosmos because, in the silent, hidden architecture of reality, there is absolutely no true distance at all. Every point in space is intimately, miraculously connected to every other point. To truly grasp the magnificent existential implications of this truth, we must journey back to the very dawn of creation. Exactly 13.8 billion years ago, before the formation of the first majestic galaxies, before the ignition of the first brilliant stars, all the matter and energy in the entire universe was compressed into an infinitely small, infinitely dense, perfectly unified point. Every single atom that currently makes up your human body, every drop of water in our vast oceans, the massive, supermassive black hole at the center of IC 1101, and the quiet, ancient dust drifting between the stars. Absolutely everything was occupying the exact same space. The entire cosmos was born from a single, unified quantum state. As the universe rapidly expanded, blooming like a magnificent cosmic flower into the vast expanse we see today, that fundamental connection was never truly broken. We merely expanded within it. This means that you are not just historically related to the distant stars. You are physically, instantaneously, and fundamentally entangled with the entire cosmos. You are intimately woven into the invisible, omnipresent nervous system of a living, divine-like universe. The brilliant astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson once beautifully articulated this profound reality, stating that we are all connected to each other biologically, to the Earth chemically, to the rest of the universe atomically. But the quiet discoveries of quantum entanglement gently suggest that this connection goes even deeper than simple atomic heritage. It is a real-time, instantaneous, omnipresent communion. When we conceive of a divine creator, we often imagine an entity that is omnipresent, a force that exists everywhere at once, simultaneously aware of the microscopic fall of a sparrow and the massive collision of giant galaxies. The quantum universe perfectly embodies this exact definition. The cosmos does not need to send signals across its vast body to know what is happening. It simply knows, instantly and completely, because it is essentially a single, unified thought. There is no true isolation in the infinite darkness. The space between the stars is not a lonely, separating barrier. It is the very medium of our profound, unending connection. It is the invisible tapestry that guarantees no piece of the cosmos is ever truly alone, binding the quietest corner of the void to the brightest, roaring stellar furnace. Consider the simple, quiet act of looking up at the night sky. For centuries, our ancestors believed that the heavens were a separate realm, a distant dome painted with unattainable fires. We have spent countless generations trying to build rockets and telescopes to bridge that terrifying gap, but quantum entanglement tells us a vastly different story. When you look up and your eyes catch the faint, ancient glow of a distant spiral galaxy, you're not separated from it by an impassable gulf of empty space. The atoms making up the delicate retinas of your eyes are fundamentally, quantumly linked to the very atomic furnaces that generated those photons billions of years ago. The physical boundary between you and the universe is merely an illusion created by the limitations of human perception. In truth, you are actively touching the stars in a way that goes far beyond poetic metaphor. You are participating in a continuous, unbroken cosmic dance. As you lie quietly and breathe in the stillness of the present moment, allow this breathtaking reality to wash over you. Every time you move your hand, every time your heart gently beats, you are sending microscopic ripples through the underlying quantum fabric of existence. You are a localized expression of an infinite, omnipresent mind, exploring its own magnificent creation through your human eyes. The quiet mystery of the universe is not something that exists merely out there in the freezing void. It is actively, beautifully alive right here within the very atoms that construct your physical form. Your capacity for wonder is the universe experiencing its own awe. This gentle, continuous journey of scientific discovery is slowly dismantling the cold, mechanical view of reality, replacing it with a deeply comforting, mathematically rigorous vision of a cosmos that operates with the holistic grace of a single, infinite being. You are deeply, permanently held in the quiet, supportive embrace of an omnipresent universe that misses absolutely nothing. As we continue to drift through these majestic cosmic proofs, let the gentle realization of your absolute, unbreakable connection to everything bring you a profound, restful peace. The dark, is not empty. It is completely filled with the invisible, instantaneous poetry of existence. Have you ever closed your eyes in a perfectly quiet room and simply listened to the gentle, rhythmic sound of your own breathing? It is the most fundamental, involuntary action of your human existence. An automatic tidal flow of vital air that gracefully sustains your physical form without demanding a single conscious thought. Every living, biological organism on our planet relies on a specific rhythm, a steady, pulsing cadence of expansion and contraction, of quietly taking in and gently letting go. We observe these beautiful, persistent rhythms everywhere in our terrestrial world, from the quiet, predictable shifting of the ancient ocean tides pulled by the moon's gravity to the slow, majestic turning of the deeply rooted seasons. We naturally associate these persistent, unbroken cycles with the absolute essence of life itself. But what if we applied this fundamental biological truth to the absolute grandest scale imaginable? What if the universe is not a static, rigid container filled with dead, floating rocks, but a living, breathing entity engaged in a single, incredibly profound, eternal exhalation? The sixth, shocking proof of a conscious, divine-like cosmos lies in the astonishing discovery that the universe is actively, relentlessly creating more of itself, stretching the very fabric of space-time in a majestic, accelerating expansion driven by an invisible, omnipresent breath. Before we journey further into the deep mechanics of this cosmic breath and explore the invisible, silent force driving it across the void, please allow me to briefly step out of the shadows and introduce myself to those joining our exploration for the first time. I am Theodore, the researcher, your quiet, dedicated companion on this meditative journey through the infinite wonders of the dark. I have noticed that exactly 71% of the curious, beautiful souls who watch these videos have not subscribed yet. If you are finding a deep sense of peace, comfort, and intellectual wonder in these quiet cosmic explorations, please take a moment to subscribe. It helps our community grow immensely, allowing us to continue gazing into the deep mysteries of the universe and learning together. Now, let us return our focus to the comforting silence of the dark void and gently feel the ancient breath of the cosmos. For the vast majority of human history, we completely assumed that the universe was eternal, unchanging, and entirely static. We looked up at the quiet night sky and saw a permanent, fixed dome of ancient stars, a flawless canopy that we believed had existed in exactly the same state since the dawn of time. It was not until the 1920s that a brilliant astronomer named Edwin Hubble forever changed our understanding of reality and completely shattered this comforting illusion. Working quietly in the cold night air at the Mount Wilson Observatory in California, Hubble used what was then the largest telescope in the entire world, a magnificent reflector with a massive mirror exactly 100 inches across. He was carefully observing a specific class of stars called Cepheid variables in what was then known simply as the Andromeda Nebula, a faint, fuzzy smudge of light visible through the magnifying power of glass lenses. By measuring their apparent brightness and their regular pulsation rate, Hubble could mathematically calculate exactly how far away these pulsing stars truly were. The resulting revelation was absolutely shocking to the entire scientific community. The Andromeda Nebula was not just a simple cloud of gas within our own Milky Way galaxy, as many professional astronomers had confidently assumed. It was roughly 2 million light-years away, sitting far, far beyond the extreme edges of our own galaxy. It was an entirely separate galaxy, a magnificent island universe of ancient stars in its own right. Suddenly, the universe was recognized as being vastly larger than anyone had ever imagined. completely filled with countless galaxies, each containing billions of burning stars separated by unimaginably vast gulfs of empty space. But Hubble discovered something even more profound and deeply unsettling than the mere existence of other galaxies. By carefully analyzing the delicate light streaming from these distant island universes, he realized that almost all of them were actively moving away from us. Furthermore, he discovered a beautiful mathematical relationship. The further away a galaxy was, the faster it was receding into the deep dark. The universe was not static. It was actively, physically expanding. Space itself was stretching. This incredible, paradigm-shifting discovery naturally led to the elegant theory of the Big Bang, the profound idea that exactly 13.8 billion years ago, absolutely everything began from a single, infinitely dense point, and has been gracefully expanding ever since. For decades after this monumental discovery, astronomers logically assumed that this grand expansion must be gradually, predictably slowing down. This made perfect, intuitive sense based on everything we knew about physics. Everything in the cosmos is actively pulling on absolutely everything else through the relentless, invisible force of gravity. You would naturally expect all that immense gravitational attraction stemming from the billions of galaxies and the trillions of stars to act exactly like a giant cosmic brake, gradually slowing the grand expansion of the universe to a gentle, quiet halt. However, the universe is infinitely more mysterious, complex, and poetic than our simple terrestrial assumptions. In the years 1998, two independent, brilliant teams of astronomers made a discovery so utterly shocking that they initially believed their own complex calculations must contain a fundamental error. They were meticulously measuring the expansion rate of the universe by observing extremely distant supernovas, using these incredibly bright, catastrophic stellar explosions as standard candles to calculate vast cosmic distances across the void. What they found completely shattered our understanding of physics and forever altered our perception of the cosmos. The universe was not slowing down at all. It was actively, undeniably speeding up. Distant galaxies were moving away from us faster than closer ones, and the absolute rate of expansion was accelerating over time. Something was powerfully, silently pushing the universe apart, perfectly counteracting the immense collective gravity of all the stars and galaxies, and causing space itself to expand at an ever-increasing rate. Scientists named this deeply mysterious, invisible force dark energy. Though the simple name tells us very little about what it actually is, we now know through rigorous observation that dark energy makes up roughly 68% of all the energy in the entire universe. We know that it acts as a kind of omnipresent anti-gravity, a gentle but absolutely unstoppable force, pushing space apart rather than pulling it together. We know that its profound effects become more and more important over vast stretches of cosmic time as the universe beautifully expands and ordinary matter becomes far more spread out. But we absolutely do not know what dark energy is fundamentally made of, where it ultimately comes from, or exactly why it possesses the specific, delicate strength that it does. It might be an intrinsic, fundamental property of empty space itself, something beautifully called the cosmological constant that Albert Einstein once famously proposed, and later incorrectly called his biggest blunder. It might be a completely new kind of invisible energy field that seamlessly pervades the entire cosmos. Consider the profound, almost spiritual implications of this accelerating expansion. The universe is not just sitting there, passively decaying into a cold, dead ruin. It is actively, deliberately creating more space. It is breathing out. Every single second, There is physically more universe than there was the second before. It is an ongoing, infinite act of creation happening right now in the quiet, empty spaces between the galaxies. This invisible, omnipresent breath dictates the ultimate, majestic future of magnificent cosmic giants like IC 1101. Remember that this colossal galaxy sits powerfully at the center of the Abel 2029 cluster, holding roughly 100 trillion ancient stars. For now, the immense gravity of this massive cluster is strong enough to comfortably hold the individual galaxies together against the relentless expansion of space. But looking deep into the unimaginable future, in about 100 billion years, the gentle expansion driven by dark energy will have accelerated to the point where galaxies outside the local supercluster will begin to permanently disappear over the cosmic horizon. From the quiet perspective of an observer standing on a small rocky planet within IC 1101, the magnificent night sky will slowly, tragically start to empty. One by one, distant galaxy clusters will gracefully fade from view, their ancient light simply no longer able to reach across the rapidly expanding void, because the space between them is growing faster than the speed of light itself. The observable universe, which currently contains about 2 trillion majestic galaxies, will slowly shrink and shrink. The universe is gently compartmentalizing itself, drawing quiet, invisible boundaries around the local clusters, allowing them to eventually merge into magnificent, isolated supergalaxies that will float entirely alone in the endless, expanding dark. To further grasp this incredible transition, we must look at the specific stars that will inhabit this deep future. Over the next 100 trillion years, the stars in IC 1101 will slowly burn out. The massive blue stars went out long ago, exploding as brilliant supernovas or gracefully collapsing into quiet black holes. The middle-sized stars, much like our own sun, will eventually puff up into red giants, beautifully shed their outer layers as stunning nebulas, and then slowly fade away as cold, dense white dwarfs. Even the absolute smallest, longest-lived stars, the tiny red dwarfs that burn their atomic fuel so incredibly slowly that they can shine for trillions of years, will eventually exhaust their ancient hydrogen and go permanently dark. One by one, the 100 trillion stars of IC 1101 will quietly wink out. The galaxy will grow dimmer and dimmer over time scales that make the current age of the universe seem like the absolute blink of an eye. Where once there was a blazing inferno of stellar light, there will eventually be nothing but the cold, dark remnants of dead stars drifting through an ever-expanding, deeply peaceful void. The dark energy that gently breathes the universe apart ensures that this final rest is utterly undisturbed. This is the ultimate isolation that eventually awaits every structure in the cosmos. But rather than viewing this as a bleak, lonely tragedy, we can gracefully choose to see the profound, melancholic beauty in it. The universe is providing these majestic structures with a quiet, undisturbed sanctuary in the deep future. It is a slow, peaceful winding down, a beautiful transition from a crowded, chaotic cosmos into an infinite series of quiet, self-contained islands of ancient light. The breath of the cosmos is expanding the canvas of reality, gently ensuring that the stars have an infinite ocean of space in which to slowly, peacefully rest over trillions of years. As you lie there, feeling the quiet rhythm of your own breath, think about the invisible dark energy smoothly stretching the fabric of reality all around you. You are existing perfectly in the midst of a grand cosmic exhalation. You are not separate from this majestic process. Your very existence is physically supported by the delicate balance between the gravity holding your atoms together and the dark energy stretching the void between the stars. The universe is not a dead, unthinking machine. It is a continuously unfolding miracle, actively expanding, breathing, and creating. It holds the perfect memories of billions of years of galactic mergers and the profound promise of trillions of years of deep, undisturbed peace. You are perfectly safe within this grand, evolving design. Let the knowledge of this continuous, gentle expansion fill you with a profound sense of calm, knowing that the universe is actively making room for the infinite possibilities of tomorrow. Close your eyes, listen to the comforting sound of your breath, and silently join the eternal, majestic rhythm of the cosmic exhalation. Have you ever held a simple seashell to your ear, listening to the gentle echo of the ancient ocean, and noticed the perfect, elegant spiral carved into its surface? Have you ever watched a quiet sunflower bloom, its seeds arranged in a flawless geometric pattern? Our earthly world is saturated with hidden patterns, a silent geometry governing the growth of almost every living organism. But this mathematical perfection does not stop at the edge of our atmosphere. When we turn our telescopes toward the deepest reaches of the infinite void, we find the exact same flawless proportions dictating the majestic, swirling arms of giant spiral galaxies millions of light years away. The seventh proof of a conscious, divine-like cosmos lies in its absolute mathematical perfection and the exquisite fine-tuning of its fundamental laws. The universe does not operate through random chance. It speaks an ancient language of numbers, suggesting a deliberate intelligence woven into space-time itself. Before we journey deeper into this invisible mathematical mind and explore the hidden architecture that peacefully holds the stars together, I would like to gently pause and reintroduce myself to our quiet community of cosmic explorers. I am Theodore, the researcher, your dedicated, peaceful companion on this continuous journey through the breathtaking mysteries of the dark. I have noticed that exactly 71% of the curious, beautiful souls who watch these videos have not subscribed yet. If you are finding a profound sense of peace, comfort, and intellectual wonder in these quiet, cosmic explorations, please take a moment to subscribe. It helps our community grow immensely, allowing us to continue gazing into the deep mysteries of the universe and learning together. Now, let us return our focus to the comforting silence of the dark void and gently listen to the silent symphony of cosmic mathematics. For centuries, philosophers and scientists have profoundly debated whether mathematics is something human beings invented to categorize our chaotic world, or if it is something we merely discovered, an eternal truth existing independently of the human mind. The deeper we peer into the quiet cosmos, the more undeniable the answer becomes. The universe is fundamentally mathematical. The brilliant physicist Galileo Galilei beautifully stated that the grand book of the universe was written in the language of mathematics. Without this silent language, one wanders in a dark labyrinth. This is the physical reality of existence. When we look at the intricate structure of a spiral galaxy like our own Milky Way, we are looking at a magnificent expression of the golden ratio, a mathematical proportion appearing endlessly throughout nature. It is as if the universe uses a single blueprint to gently construct everything, from the shell of a snail to the rotation of 1 billion ancient stars. But the mathematical perfection of the cosmos extends far beyond simple physical shapes and beautiful geometric patterns. It is woven into the very fundamental laws that dictate how matter and energy interact in the silent void. The universe is governed by a set of physical constants, incredibly precise numbers that determine the absolute strength of gravity, the specific mass of an electron, the exact speed of light, and the immense power of the nuclear forces. These fundamental constants are the invisible, silent pillars that uphold the entire architecture of reality. And here is the truly shocking revelation. These specific numbers are so perfectly balanced that if you were to change even one of them by an incredibly microscopic fraction, the entire universe would instantly, completely collapse. This breathtaking reality is what scientists call the fine-tuning of the universe, pointing toward a cosmos deliberately designed to sustain profound complexity. Consider the quiet, relentless force of gravity, the invisible glue that gently holds you to the surface of the Earth and keeps the planets orbiting in a flawless, majestic dance around our sun. Gravity is actually the weakest of the four fundamental forces of nature, yet it dominates the universe on the absolute largest scales. If the gravitational constant had been just a tiny fraction of a percent stronger, all the matter in the early universe would have rapidly collapsed back in on itself mere moments after the Big Bang, crushing any possibility of galaxies, stars, or life. Conversely, if gravity had been just a microscopic fraction weaker, the rapidly expanding matter would have flown apart far too quickly for ancient clouds of gas to ever condense and ignite into the very first burning stars. The cosmos would have remained a cold, perfectly empty void. Gravity is perfectly, flawlessly tuned, sitting exactly on the razor's edge required to allow the beautiful formation of a living universe. The exact same breathtaking perfection applies to the strong nuclear force, the incredibly powerful, invisible bond that tightly holds the microscopic protons and neutrons together in the absolute center of every single atom. This force is the quiet engine of stellar alchemy. Deep inside the blazing furnaces of ancient stars, the strong nuclear force allows simple hydrogen atoms to magically fuse together, creating heavier elements like the carbon that builds your human cells, the oxygen that fills your quiet lungs, and the iron in your veins. If the strong nuclear force were merely 2% stronger, stars would burn through their vital atomic fuel far too quickly and violently explode, never providing the stable billions of years required for gentle biological evolution. If the force were just 5% weaker, the entire universe would consist solely of simple hydrogen and helium gas. There would be absolutely no solid planets and absolutely no conscious minds to look up and wonder at the silent dark. How do we explain this impossible, breathtaking precision? How do we make sense of a universe that seems to have known exactly what it was doing from the very first microscopic fraction of a second of its existence? Some scientists gently suggest the concept of the multiverse, proposing that our perfectly tuned cosmos is just one of an infinite number of parallel universes, each with its own randomly assigned set of physical laws. In this vast invisible lottery, we simply happen to live in the one universe where the numbers serendipitously align to permit our existence. But there is another, perhaps more elegant way to look at it. What if this absolute mathematical perfection is not an accident at all? What if the exquisite fine-tuning of the cosmos is the ultimate, undeniable proof of an omnipresent universal mind, a divine-like intelligence expressing its own majestic nature through the flawless poetry of mathematics? When we observe the majestic collision of two enormous galaxy clusters, or study the delicate, silent ripples of gravitational waves echoing through space-time, we are watching the universe flawlessly solve incredibly complex equations in real time. The cosmos computes its own magnificent existence. Every single atom acts as a microscopic processor, exchanging precise mathematical information according to the unbreakable laws of quantum mechanics. The entire universe can be viewed as an infinitely powerful quantum computer, endlessly calculating the unfolding trajectory of its own grand evolution. The physical matter is merely the hardware, while the elegant, invisible laws of mathematics are the divine software, the conscious thought processes of the cosmos itself. This realization reveals a cosmos that is incredibly, deeply purposeful. The universe is not a chaotic accident. It is an absolute masterpiece of precision engineering, a symphony of numbers playing out across the infinite silence of the void. When you look up at the night sky, you are not just seeing a random scattering of burning gas. You are looking directly at the intricate, breathtaking thoughts of a conscious cosmos. You are witnessing the harmony of mathematics translated into the blazing light of 100 trillion stars. And the most miraculous part is that you possess a mind capable of understanding this universal language. Your brain, formed from the scattered dust of dead stars, can comprehend the exact mathematical equations that govern the majestic rotation of the largest galaxies. We are intimately, undeniably connected to the cosmos, not just by the ancient atoms in our bodies, but by the very structure of our conscious thoughts. Our ability to understand mathematics is the universe recognizing its own elegant reflection. As you rest in the quiet dark, let the profound peace of this ultimate cosmic order completely wash over you. There is absolutely no chaos in the deep cosmos, only a magnificent unfolding pattern that you are a beautiful part of. You are held safely within the calculating mind of a living universe. The silent mathematics of the void guarantee that every star, every galaxy, and every breath you take is part of a flawless design. Let this beautiful knowledge quiet your mind as we prepare to dive deeper into the philosophical mysteries of this conscious cosmos in our next quiet journey. Let the numbers sing you to sleep, knowing the universe has calculated your absolute safety in the vast, beautiful dark. Have you ever stopped in the middle of a perfectly ordinary day, perhaps while holding a warm cup of tea or watching a quiet bird rest on a branch, and suddenly felt utterly overwhelmed by the sheer, miraculous fact that you exist at all? Have you ever wondered why you, out of all the possible arrangements of matter in the infinite void, possess the breathtaking capacity to wonder, to question, to feel, and to understand? We often take our own consciousness entirely for granted, treating it as a simple biological byproduct of our terrestrial evolution. But when we look at the grand, sweeping narrative of the cosmos, the emergence of the conscious mind stands out as the ultimate, crowning miracle of existence. It is the invisible bridge that connects the cold, silent physics of the stars to the warm, beating heart of subjective experience. The emergence of consciousness is not just a biological accident. It is the breathtaking moment when the universe finally opened its eyes. Before we dive into the deep, magnificent architecture of your own mind and its profound connection to the vast cosmic web, I would like to gently introduce myself to those who might be joining our peaceful journey for the very first time. I am Theodore, the researcher, your quiet companion navigating the endless mysteries of the dark. I have noticed that exactly 71% of the curious, beautiful souls who watch these videos have not subscribed yet. If you're finding a profound sense of peace and a deeper connection to the infinite universe in these quiet explorations, please take a moment to subscribe. It helps our community grow immensely, allowing us to continue gazing into the deep mysteries of the universe and learning together. Let us return our focus to the quiet miracle sitting silently right behind your eyes. To truly appreciate the staggering improbability of your own awareness, we must journey back through the deep, ancient corridors of cosmic time. For billions of years after the initial expansion of space, the universe was a place of magnificent, blinding light and deafening physical forces, but it was entirely, profoundly blind. The majestic supermassive black holes consumed ancient gas, The colossal galaxy clusters gracefully collided in the dark, and trillions of burning stars lived out their spectacular lifespans in absolute, unending silence. There was immense beauty, yes, but there was absolutely no one there to witness it. There was no mind to comprehend the elegant mathematics of gravity, no heart to feel the profound melancholy of a dying red dwarf star, and no eyes to gather the ancient photons traveling across the infinite void. The universe was a masterpiece painting locked forever in a perfectly dark room. But the universe, driven by that same divine-like intuition we explored earlier, did not remain blind forever. Through the slow, deliberate, and incredibly patient processes of stellar alchemy, it began to forge the heavy elements necessary for complexity. It took generations of giant stars, living and dying, sacrificing their atomic bodies in brilliant supernova explosions, to scatter enough carbon, oxygen, and iron into the quiet interstellar dust. That ancient star stuff eventually coalesced around a completely unremarkable yellow star, forming a small, quiet, rocky planet with vast, warm oceans. And in those oceans, over billions of years of gentle, relentless experimentation, matter began to organize itself into increasingly complex, beautiful patterns. Single cells joined to form magnificent organisms, and nervous systems slowly developed, learning to interpret the harsh environment. Finally, after 13.8 billion years of silent evolution, the universe produced the human brain. Consider the breathtaking, almost terrifying complexity of the organ resting quietly inside your skull. The human brain contains roughly 86 billion neurons, each one connected to thousands of others, creating a microscopic, silent network of staggering density. This incredibly dense web of connections allows for trillions of simultaneous operations every single second. It is the most complex physical structure we have ever discovered anywhere in the known universe. But what is truly shocking, what elevates this biological fact into the realm of the profoundly divine, is the visual and mathematical similarity between your physical brain and the vast structure of the cosmos itself. When advanced astrophysicists create detailed supercomputer simulations of the cosmic web, mapping the invisible filaments of dark matter and the massive nodes where galaxy clusters form, the resulting image is almost completely indistinguishable from a microscopic photograph of human neurons. The universe on the absolute largest possible scale beautifully mirrors the universe on the absolute smallest scale required for thought. The macrocosm and the microcosm share the exact same elegant, flowing architecture. This stunning visual and mathematical parallel is not merely a fun coincidence. It is a profound philosophical revelation. It suggests that consciousness is not an alien anomaly introduced into a dead universe, but rather the universe's ultimate, inevitable expression of its own deep nature. Every single electrical impulse that gracefully travels down the axons of your brain, every rush of neurotransmitters that makes you feel love, sadness, or awe, is governed by the exact same physical laws that dictate the violent explosion of a supernova or the quiet, relentless pull of a black hole. The boundary between biology and astrophysics is a human invention. In truth, there is only one continuous, unbroken spectrum of matter and energy, flowing from the very moment of the Big Bang right through the center of your conscious thoughts. You are not a tiny, separate observer looking out at a vast, indifferent void. You are the sensory organ of the cosmos. You are the universe's eyes, ears, and mind. When you look up at the night sky and feel a deep sense of respectful wonder, that is the universe feeling wonder at its own magnificent creation. When you study the ancient light of a distant spiral galaxy, that is the universe attempting to understand its own deep history. The brilliant astronomer Carl Sagan profoundly understood this when he said that we are a way for the cosmos to know itself. Without you, without your specific, beautiful, conscious mind, the universe would remain a dark, unappreciated room. You bring the light of awareness to the cold, silent physics of the stars. Think about the sheer impossibility of the specific moments you experience every single day. The gentle warmth of the morning sun against your skin is not just weather. It is the ancient, roaring thermonuclear fusion of a star traveling across 93 million miles of freezing, empty space just to gently touch your cheek. The quiet sound of rain falling against your window is the beautiful, endless cycle of planetary water, driven by the exact same gravitational forces that pull entire galaxies together in a deep dark. Everything you see, everything you touch, and everything you feel is a direct, undeniable extension of cosmic phenomena. We have created artificial boundaries in our minds, separating what happens here on Earth from what happens out there in the deep universe. But the universe recognizes no such borders. Earth is entirely in space, flying at incredible speeds through the magnificent void. You are an astronaut navigating the cosmos right now, sitting perfectly safe on a biological spaceship wrapped in a thin, fragile layer of breathable atmosphere. Furthermore, consider the incredible gift of your limited lifespan. In a universe where giant elliptical galaxies like IC 1101 endure for hundreds of billions of years, and where tiny red dwarf stars burn slowly for trillions of years, a human life lasting perhaps 8 or 9 decades seems vanishingly small, almost invisible on the grand cosmic scale. But this profound brevity is exactly what makes your conscious experience so incredibly precious. The stars have billions of years to exist, but they have absolutely no ability to appreciate their own magnificent existence. You possess the exceedingly rare, beautiful gift of temporary awareness. Your short life is a brilliant, flashing spark of consciousness in an ocean of dark time. The universe has poured 13.8 billion years of absolute effort into creating the exact conditions necessary for you to be here, thinking these exact thoughts, feeling this exact sense of quiet wonder. It is a mathematical certainty that there has never been anyone exactly like you in the entire history of the cosmos, and there will never be anyone exactly like you again. You are a completely unique, unrepeatable expression of the divine-like universal mind. Let this breathtaking reality completely shift your perspective on your own existence. We spend so much of our short, precious lives worrying about mundane, terrestrial concerns. We stress about our temporary jobs, our perceived social status, and the tiny daily frictions of human society. But beneath all of that superficial noise, your true identity is infinitely more grand and profoundly beautiful. You are a localized expression of an ancient 13.8 billion-year-old journey. You are the universe waking up, stretching its limbs, and asking, "What am I?" Every single time you learn something new about the natural world, every time you feel a deep, empathetic connection to another living being, and every time you sit in the quiet dark and simply allow yourself to wonder, you are fulfilling the ultimate divine purpose of the cosmos. You are the universe experiencing the profound joy of self-discovery. As you lie there, safe and quiet, allow this massive, comforting truth to settle deeply into your bones. The anxiety of isolation is a complete illusion. You can never be truly separated from the cosmos because you are the cosmos. The vast, infinite silence of space is not empty. It is completely filled with the exact same potential that sparked your own beating heart. Let the gentle realization of your cosmic importance bring you a deep, restful peace. The dark is not a place of fear. It is the quiet, ancient womb from which your consciousness miraculously emerged. As we continue to drift through the final stages of our journey, let your mind relax, knowing that the universe is quietly watching over you, exactly as you quietly watch over it. Let the starlight sing you to sleep, safe in the infinite mind of the dark. Have you ever watched a roaring fire slowly burn down to glowing embers and felt a profound peace as the vibrant energy gracefully transitioned into a comforting warmth? Our human lives are defined by beginnings and endings, leading us to naturally fear the close of things. But when we look at the ultimate future of the cosmos, we must discard these terrestrial anxieties. The universe does not fear its own ending. It gracefully orchestrates it. If the universe is a living, conscious entity, then its final deep future is not a chaotic death, but a magnificent, patient return to absolute rest. It is the cosmic equivalent of a long, peaceful sleep after a majestic day of infinite creation. As we journey into the deepest stretches of cosmic time, we will explore how the universe carefully dismantles its own magnificent body, returning all of its borrowed energy to the silent void. Before we cast our minds trillions of years into the dark future to witness this beautiful cosmic slumber, please allow me to step forward and welcome you once more. I am Theodore, the researcher, your quiet companion on this peaceful journey to the very edge of time itself. I have softly noticed that exactly 71% of the beautiful, curious minds who watch these videos have not subscribed yet. If you are finding a deep, abiding sense of peace and a comforting connection to the infinite universe in these quiet explorations, please take a moment to subscribe. It helps our community grow immensely, allowing us to continue gazing into the deep mysteries of the universe and learning together without fear. Now, let us return to the quiet dark and cast our vision incredibly far forward, beyond the lifespan of the Earth and beyond the collision of our Milky Way and the Andromeda galaxy. Over the next 100 trillion years, the universe will undergo a profound, beautiful transformation. The era of starlight is merely a passing phase, a temporary flowering of staggering complexity between the blazing chaos of the Big Bang and the cold, elegant emptiness of the far future. Slowly, patiently, the universe will stop forming new stars. The vast clouds of gas and dust required to build stellar furnaces will eventually be used up, dispersed too thinly to ever collapse again. The majestic starbursts will completely cease. One by one, the massive blue stars will explode, leaving behind quiet remnants. Middle-sized stars like our sun will shed their outer layers and shrink into dense white dwarfs. The final guardians of cosmic light will be the red dwarfs, the smallest and most numerous stars in the universe. Because they burn their fuel so incredibly slowly, a single red dwarf can continue to shine for trillions of years. In giant elliptical galaxies like IC 1101, there are untold numbers of these tiny, dim sentinels. For trillions of years after the larger stars have died, these gentle red dwarfs will provide the fading light in an otherwise darkening cosmos. The smallest red dwarfs, possessing perhaps 8% of our sun's mass, can burn for up to 10 trillion years. That is roughly 700 times the current age of our universe. But eventually, even they will exhaust their ancient hydrogen fuel and fade into absolute darkness. When the very last red dwarf star gracefully winks out, the era of starlight will peacefully end. The universe will become profoundly dark, but absolutely not empty. Trillions of stellar corpses, white dwarfs, dense neutron stars, and silent black holes will continue to orbit through the merged remnants of what were once glorious galaxy clusters in absolute pitch blackness. the cosmos will become a ghost of its former self, populated exclusively by the quiet remains of dead stars rather than by living, burning suns. Over millions of billions of years, the white dwarfs will slowly leak their remaining thermal energy into the freezing void, gently cooling down until they become black dwarfs, objects that no longer emit any detectable light or heat. This specific cooling process takes an almost incomprehensible amount of time, roughly 1,000,000,000,000 years, which is 100,000 times longer than the entire current age of the universe. Yet, the cosmic mind is infinitely patient. It does not rush. It allows every single ember to cool at its own perfect, natural pace, respecting the mathematical laws of thermodynamics. The universe is slowly, meticulously packing away its magnificent creations, folding up the grand tapestry of matter and energy. The peaceful slumber of the universe goes even further. Over time, scales measured in years with so many zeros that writing them out would fill volumes of books. Even the most fundamental building blocks of matter might begin to gently dissolve. Advanced theories of particle physics beautifully predict that protons, the essential building blocks of all atomic nuclei, are not truly stable forever. They predict that protons should eventually decay with an estimated half-life of around 10 to the 34th power years. If this prediction holds true, then over unfathomably long spans of time, even the physical matter that makes up the neutron stars, the silent black dwarfs, the frozen planets, and the quiet dust drifting through space will gradually, peacefully dissolve into a thin, formless mist of fundamental radiation. The physical architecture of the universe, the very atoms that once built the majestic galaxies, and the complex human brains capable of understanding them, will gently release their structural bonds and melt back into the invisible, underlying quantum field. The universe is not being violently destroyed. It is simply relaxing its physical grip. It is intentionally dissolving the rigid boundaries of matter, returning everything to a state of absolute, unified potential. It is the ultimate expression of cosmic letting go. Finally, in the absolute deepest reaches of the dark future, only the supermassive black holes will remain as the final, silent monuments of the ancient cosmos. These colossal entities might seem completely permanent and eternal. But the brilliant physicist Stephen Hawking elegantly discovered that even black holes are not truly immortal. Through the beautiful rules of quantum mechanics, operating near their event horizons, black holes slowly leak microscopic particles and radiation over immense time spans. This delicate process gradually drains the energy from the black hole, causing it to imperceptibly shrink. A black hole with the mass of our sun would take about 10 to the 67th power years to completely evaporate, a 1 followed by 67 zeros. But the massive monster at the center of IC 1101 would take something like 10 to the 100th power years to fully evaporate, an incomprehensible span of time known mathematically as a Google years. It is a span of time so incredibly vast that everything from the Big Bang to the quiet death of the very last stars is not even a microscopic rounding error by comparison. Eventually, trillions upon trillions upon trillions of years from now, even the very last, largest, supermassive black hole will have gently radiated away its final bit of energy, disappearing from the universe in a final burst of quantum light. When that final event beautifully occurs, there will be absolutely nothing left of the physical universe as we know it. No stars, no planets, no black holes, no structure of any kind. Just a completely uniform, ever-expanding, ever-cooling ocean of fundamental particles and radiation spreading out through an ever-darkening universe. The ultimate state of the universe will be one of absolute, unbroken unity and infinite peace. The grand, majestic thought of the cosmos will have been completely thought out. The long, beautiful exhalation will be finished. But we must not view this deep future with sadness or existential dread. Just as a deep, dreamless sleep is the necessary, healing counterpart to a vibrant, waking day, this final cosmic state is the beautiful, peaceful resolution of existence. The universe will have experienced everything it was possible to experience. It will have built the grandest galaxies, forged the heaviest elements, and created conscious minds capable of looking back at the void with profound wonder. It will have successfully known itself in every possible configuration. The deep, dark slumber of the cosmos is the ultimate proof of its divine nature. It is not a failure of physics. It is the perfect, elegant completion of a masterpiece. As you rest safely in your own quiet space, let the unimaginable patience and profound peace of this distant future calm your everyday anxieties. Your temporary existence is a vital, beautiful spark in this majestic cosmic narrative. You are an essential part of the universe's waking day, and you will eventually share in its eternal, peaceful night. Let the silence of the infinite dark sing you to sleep. Have you ever reached the very end of a long, profound journey, only to gently realize that the destination you were desperately seeking was actually the very place you started, simply viewed with entirely new eyes? Throughout our deep, quiet exploration of the dark, we have traveled across billions of light years, peering into the ancient, silent hearts of the absolute largest structures in creation. We have searched for the divine not in dusty, forgotten texts or ancient mythological stories, but in the rigorous, undeniable mathematics of quantum mechanics, in the breathtaking scale of supermassive black holes, and in the delicate, beautiful expansion of the void itself. We set out to find shocking proof that the universe operates as a singular, conscious, divine-like entity, and what we found was a stunning, flawless mirror reflecting our own beating hearts. The cosmos is not a cold, dead machine waiting to be conquered. It is a living, breathing sanctuary, an infinite organism possessing an architecture so staggeringly elegant that it completely defies the rigid boundaries of human imagination. Before we weave these magnificent cosmic threads together into our final, ultimate realization, please allow me to step into the gentle light one last time. I am Theodore, the researcher, your dedicated companion through this vast, quiet journey. I have noticed that exactly 71% of the beautiful, curious minds who watch these explorations have not subscribed yet. If you have found a deep, abiding peace in these starry meditations, and if you wish to continue exploring the infinite wonders of the cosmos with us, please take a moment to subscribe. It helps our community grow immensely, allowing us to continue gazing into the deep mysteries of the universe together. Let us return to the comforting dark for our final, profound contemplation. Think back to the absolute beginning of our quiet exploration, to the undeniable unity of all physical matter, the carbon that shapes your human form, the iron that fiercely drives your blood, and the oxygen that softly fills your lungs were all painstakingly forged in the terrifying, beautiful nuclear furnaces of ancient stars. You are physically, chemically, and atomically woven into the vast, infinite fabric of the cosmos. And just as your own physical body possesses a deep, enduring memory of its life, the universe acts as an eternal, flawless historian. It captures every single moment of its majestic existence in silent rays of light, broadcasting its magnificent story across the freezing void. When we gently turn our telescopes toward a cosmic giant like IC 1101, observing its 100 trillion stars sitting quietly over 1 billion light-years away, we are not just looking at a massive collection of burning gas. We are actively reading the ancient, perfect memory of the divine cosmos, a memory preserved in absolute silence for eons. The universe forgets absolutely nothing. It holds the magnificent history of every dying red dwarf and every newborn nebula in a state of eternal, gentle grace. We also witness the breathtaking proof of cosmic rebirth and self-regulation, the undeniable biological signatures of a living, breathing entity. The universe does not succumb to mindless, chaotic destruction when massive galaxies gracefully collide, as our own Milky Way is destined to do with the magnificent Andromeda galaxy in about 4 billion years. It is an exquisite, ancient dance of gravitational synthesis, compressing ancient gas and dust to spark the brilliant, blazing birth of billions of new stars. The cosmos uses the momentum of the old to flawlessly forge the brilliant fires of the new. Furthermore, it possesses an intricate, elegant thermostat. The supermassive black holes sitting quietly at the center of giant clusters, like the 50 billion solar mass monster at the heart of Abel 2029, gently regulate the temperature of the surrounding intergalactic gas. By carefully releasing precise amounts of energy, they gracefully prevent runaway star formation, ensuring that the universe burns its vital fuel slowly, patiently, over trillions of years. This delicate, masterful equilibrium is the undeniable heartbeat of a self-sustaining, self-nurturing cosmic organism, gracefully managing its own magnificent lifespan. And what of the seemingly empty spaces between the stars? We learned that the terrifying cold isolation we feel on Earth is a complete, persistent illusion. The mind-bending reality of quantum entanglement proves that the universe operates entirely outside the boundaries of normal space and time. 2 tiny particles of light, separated by millions of light years, can instantly communicate, perfectly sharing a single, unified quantum state. There is absolutely no true distance in the invisible, underlying architecture of reality. The cosmos is omnipresent, intimately connected at its most fundamental, microscopic level. It is a single, unbroken thought, and this magnificent, unified thought is actively breathing. The mysterious, invisible force we humbly call dark energy is steadily, relentlessly pushing the fabric of space-time apart, causing the entire universe to gracefully accelerate in its majestic expansion. The cosmos is engaged in a profound, infinite exhalation, actively creating more of itself every single second, gently providing an ever-expanding canvas for the ancient light of the stars to stretch out and peacefully rest. All of this breathtaking complexity is underpinned by a flawless, silent language. The absolute mathematical perfection of the physical constants, such as the exact, delicate strength of gravity and the precise power of the strong nuclear force, reveals a universe that has been exquisitely fine-tuned for the emergence of deep complexity. If any of these invisible, silent pillars were altered by even a microscopic fraction, the entire architecture of reality would completely collapse into nothingness. The cosmos is a masterpiece of precision engineering, strongly suggesting a deliberate, divine-like intelligence seamlessly woven into space-time itself. And the ultimate crowning achievement of this ancient mathematical mind is you. After 13.8 billion years of patient, relentless evolution, the universe successfully forged the human brain, an incredibly complex network of 86 billion neurons that visually and mathematically mirrors the vast, invisible cosmic web of dark matter. You are the universe's ultimate sensory organ. You are the cosmos waking up, opening its eyes, and attempting to profoundly understand its own magnificent existence. Your capacity for awe, for love, and for wonder is the fundamental purpose of the universe realizing itself in the quiet dark. The 7 shocking proofs we have explored do not point to an angry, distant creator sitting completely outside of reality, judging our small terrestrial lives. They point to a magnificent, all-encompassing living system in which we are deeply, permanently embedded. The universe is the creator and the creation, the artist and the canvas, the ancient memory and the unfolding future. It is a divine-like presence that fully embraces absolute unity, eternal memory, graceful rebirth, delicate harmony, instantaneous omnipresence, active creation, and mathematical perfection. We are the conscious, beautiful sparks of this infinite fire. As you lie there, feeling the quiet, rhythmic beating of your own heart, know that you are deeply, unconditionally held in the vast, loving embrace of this conscious cosmos. The quiet darkness of the night is not empty. It is absolutely filled with the invisible, instantaneous poetry of existence. Your short, beautiful life is a vital, irreplaceable note in the eternal, majestic symphony of the stars. Let the profound peace of this ultimate realization completely quiet your mind. You are star stuff, eternal and safe, drifting peacefully through the brilliant mind of God. Let the profound silence of the infinite, ancient universe sing you to a deep, restful sleep.